A Step into the Past Volume 17 Chapter 1 Book 17 Chapter 01, Hatred Caused by Love. In their half a year apart, Xiao Pan has matured further, becoming even more adept at hiding his feelings. Leaving the Commander-in-Chief's residence, Xiang Xiaolong followed Xiao Pan back to the palace. Teng Yi, Ji Yanran, and the rest returned to the Wu residence. Liu Gong's funeral arrangements would be arranged by the ceremonial official appointed by Xiao Pan. They entered the study. When Xiao Pan and Xiang Xiaolong had been left alone, Xiao Pan slapped the table and said in fury, 10,000 deaths is not enough to atone for this traitor's guilt. Xiang Xiaolong sat down forlornly beneath him and said somberly, why was Su Xian sent to Shaochun? Xiao Pan appeared fearful of being blamed and explained, Liu Bue had exhorted me to ally with Chu and Qi to attack the three Jin states. He persisted in asking for Su Xian to travel to Chu to repair relations and even wanted me to take a Chu princess as my wife. Empress Dowager could have been confused by Lao Ai as she strongly supported Liu Bue together with Wang Wan, Caize, and the others. I was not able to resist them and had no choice but to agree. At that time I thought that Liu Bue only wanted to keep Su Xian away from Xianyang for a period of time to deter Liu Gong from harassing him. Who would know that the Chu people would be so reckless, actually daring to assassinate the envoy who was representing me? For the first time, Xiang Xiaolong felt hatred for Zhu Ji. He was pained to silence. Liu Gong, Su Xian, and Wang Qi had always been the three pillars of the military. Now only Wang Qi remained. Worse, this person was close to Liu Bue. The status quo he had painstakingly created had been destroyed overnight. Presently, amongst the military and the government heavyweights, he could barely count on one person, Wang Ling, to be on their side. The rest, like Meng Ao, were part of Liu Bue's inner circle. Du Baitu had ulterior motives. This was the most precarious situation he had encountered since coming to Qin. Xiao Pan sighed and said, the biggest headache now is the vacant left premier's post left behind by Su Xian. Liu Bue has recommended Wang Wan, and Empress Dowager is leaning towards this proposition. It is very difficult for me to object. In terms of experience and seniority, no one besides Caize is more qualified than he is to become the left premier. Xiang Xiaolong replied, this matter is critical. No matter what we do, we must not let the left premier position fall into the hands of Liu Bue's men, else the Qin court will be safely in Liu Bue's pocket within 3 years. He turned towards Xiao Pan and queried, does Crown Prince have a candidate in mind? Xiao Pan replied, if it was up to me, I would go against convention and promote Li Si. He is 10 times as talented as Wang Wan. Xiang Xiaolong shook his head and said, going by ability, there is no problem with Li Si, but he is not a native of Qin. Even if no one objects, you should not promote an outsider thus before you have stabilized your own position. This will only put you at odds with the Qin community. Xiao Pan was silent for a while before nodding his head, saying, Master is right. We should not do so at present. Ai. It's good that you are back. Finally there is someone to help me think through plans. Xiang Xiaolong gazed at Xiao Pan for a while before saying, you have already done very well to drag things up to this point. He stood up and started pacing, but his mind remained a blank. He mumbled, the candidate must first be a Qin native, and then must be someone we trust absolutely. The next criterion must be that he is young and have high ideals, so as not to be easily bribed by Liu Bue. At the same time, he must clearly understand our relationship with Liu Bue and must also have the support of the military. Where can we find this person? Xiao Pan sighed and said, this person is you, my master. But I already know that you will refuse. Xiang Xiaolong jumped once and said, I know. This person is Lord Chongping. Xiao Pan was startled for a while before cupping his head and saying, isn't he a little soft? Xiang Xiaolong replied, of course he's a little soft. But this tactic is called feigning one thing and doing another. The feint is Lord Chongping. The real person in the shadows is Li Si. Lord Chongping is a noble kinsman of the king. Even Wang Wan will find it difficult not to give in to him. The actual phrase used here is openly repairing the plank road while secretly crossing the river Wei at Chenkang. It's a reference to a stratagem used by Liu Bang in 206 BC against Xianjiu of Chu, reference from mdbg.net. Its meaning is close to what is written above, feigning one thing and doing another. Xiao Pan asked in bafflement, I understand what repairing the plank road means, but what the heck is Chenkang? Xiang Xiaolong secretly berated himself for slipping once again. This is because this incident would only happen during Chu and Han's conflict many years later. Xiao Pan had naturally never heard of it. He could only invent some nonsense, saying, that refers to an obsolete and unused warehouse that nobody notices. In short, Li Si is the true premier while Lord Chongping is the figurehead. CHA with tilde A copyright NCA with tilde A with circumflex Euro A with tilde A NGA with tilde A with circumflex copyright A cent A Euro A with circumflex cent A Euro A with tilde A with circumflex A is the ancient name of BA with tilde A with circumflex Euro A 1/2 OJ Euro A with tilde A city A with tilde A with circumflex yen A registered trademark A with tilde A with circumflex copyright A with tilde A with circumflex yen A. Reference from mdbg.net. XSL is associating the word CHA with tilde A copyright NA with tilde A with circumflex copyright A cent A Euro A with circumflex cent A Euro with A with tilde A with circumflex copyright A cent A Euro A with circumflex cent A Euro A with tilde A with circumflex A Euro A CHA with tilde A copyright NGA A superscript 1 meaning obsolete, and the word CA with tilde A with circumflex Euro A with tilde A NGA with tilde A with circumflex A with A with tilde A with circumflex A with tilde A with circumflex yen A degree CA with tilde A with circumflex Euro A with tilde A NGK A with tilde A superscript 1 meaning warehouse. Hence XSL's rubbish explanation above. This is also how I try to decipher more obscure Chinese idioms and phrases. Please do not ever try to learn Chinese from my translations. And never ever use what you see here when doing business in China. You have been warned, smiley face. Xiao Pan was still hesitant and pointed out in doubt, Lord Changping's treasured sister is very close to Guan Zongzi. If Ying Ying is married to Guan Zongzi, won't that present some problems? Xiang Xiaolong replied, this might have been a problem previously, but now as long as the Chongping brothers know that Su Xian was murdered by Liu Buwei, it would be useless for him even if Guan Zongzi marries their mother. Xiao Pan laughed bitterly from his belly and said, Master should not provoke me, this is not the time to be laughing. As Xiang Xiaolong thought about Su Xian and Liu Gong, his enthusiasm diminished and he said solemnly, this is but the first step. The second step is to recall Wang Jian and use him to counter Wang Qi, Meng Ao, and Du Bai. I am sure that he will become the cornerstone of our great Qin's military someday. Throwing in Huan Qi and Wang Ling, they will be even more formidable than Su Xian and Liu Gong. Xiao Pan stood up abruptly and replied, how do we get past the Empress Dowager? She is sure to reject this because of Lord Changping's lack of experience. Xiang Xiaolong thought for an instant before saying confidently, allow me to persuade her personally. Xiao Pan shook his head and cautioned, Empress Dowager is no longer the queen mother of last time. After Lao Ai obtained her favor, Empress Dowager has become even more infatuated with him. She also feels that I am becoming less obedient to her. I believe that Master's influence over her is no longer what it used to be. Also, Liu Buwei has been courting Lao Ai, else mother would not be supporting him. Xiang Xiaolong smiled and said, then I should speak to Lao Ai. I cannot believe that he would be willing to allow Liu Buwei to become more powerful. Now that I am back, he is no longer alone. He should now have the guts to betray Liu Buwei. Xiao Pan nodded and said, let's do as Master says. If all our methods fail, we can just summon Liu Buwei and Guan Zongzi into the palace and have Master kill them with the sword once and for all. After that we can trump up some charge and pick up the pieces. Xiang Xiaolong was shocked and replied, what kind of plan is this? The bulk of the military strength is now with Meng Ao. If we do this, the outcome would be unpredictable. Moreover, the palace is steeped with Liu Bui's spies. If anything goes wrong, we will be the ones to lose out. Xiao Pan sighed and was speechless. Xiang Xiaolong remembered Prince Dan and asked about his situation. Xiao Pan nonchalantly replied, Liu Bui has invited him to his new official residence and detained him there. It is unknown whether he is alive or dead. His subordinates have been placed under house arrest in the guest house. They are not allowed to step out of the gates. Guanzongzi's men are guarding the place. I did not feel that this was a big deal and I had too many things to worry about, hence I did not get involved. Xiang Xiaolong beheld him in astonishment, trepidation rising from the bottom of his heart. Qin Shi is Qin Shi after all, promoting expedience while discounting benevolence and righteousness. Just based on Xiao Pan's manner, one could tell that he had no qualms about having Liu Bui kill Prince Dan. This would after all remove one of the obstacles in the way of his future unification of China. As he reflected on this, he realized that to move Xiao Pan in this matter, he would have to appeal to benefit. After he thought for a while, he heaved a long sigh and said, doing this, Crown Prince is actually elevating the other party and putting himself down. Xiao Pan stared blankly for a while and said, so even this a problem? Xiang Xiaolong forthrightly said, if Crown Prince remains aloof on this matter, the prestige that Crown Prince painstakingly created by quelling the rebellion at the royal hunt will dissipate, causing people to think that the only one in charge in Xianyang is that stinking premier mentor Liu Bui. It is said that when two countries battle, envoys are not to be harmed. Prince Dan has come from afar to attend the funeral of your late father. He has been seized by Liu Bui, but the charge will be leveled at you. Will the Eastern Six Kingdoms trust you in the future if you do not observe righteousness and justice? Xiao Pan was startled and said, why does Master sing the same tune as Li Si? Looks like there is some reason there. But what if Prince Dan has already been killed by Liu Bui? Xiang Xiaolong shook his head and replied, how could Liu Bui be so willing to kill Prince Dan? This matter is clearly directed at me. On the other hand, it is also to help that devil Tian Dan defeat Yan. He paused for a while before giving a cold snort, saying, Moao was killed publicly by me, removing the old scoundrel's chief tactician. Worse, his prestige was damaged. As someone who is paranoid about winning, how could he swallow this? Still, he did not have a way to deal with us directly. His only method was to use Prince Dan. At the most I would barge into the residence demanding the person. He would then be able to kill me or stick some charge on me. Xiao Pan coolly said, still, this matter had the tacit approval of Mother. Liu Gong and Su Xian voiced opposition many times but were always suppressed by Mother and the scoundrel Liu. Hey! It is also difficult for me. Xiang Xiaolong felt a headache coming. Xiao Pan was right. Zhu Ji has definitely changed a lot this half a year. Xiao Pan said, from tomorrow, Master must attend the morning court. AI. The number of people who dare to oppose Liu Bui are diminishing by the day. He paused and then continued, is there any way to recall Ngu? Xiang Xiaolong shook his head and said, the bulk of our Great Qin's military strength is now concentrated at the border. The 7 cities are in the hands of Meng Ao, Wangqi, and Dubai. The rest belong to Wang Jian and Ngu. If we recall both Wang Jian and Ngu, we will lose all out external support. This is something we must never do. Using this as a segue, he asked, what has come of HuanQi's effort to build a contingency force? Xiao Pan was re-energized and replied, the two of them Huan Qi and Little Ben have been traveling all over the country, personally selecting talent. They now have an army of close to 10,000. Li Si has given this division the name Rapid Response Division. It sounds appropriate. He snorted again and said, nonetheless Liu Bui has hindered Huan Qi in many ways. On the surface he agrees to everything, but in secret he opposes everything. I wanted to promote Li Si by one grade to become a Minister of State in the government and military, but was stiffly blocked by Empress Dowager and Liu Buwei. I am unable to move a single step. Master needs to think of a plan for me. Xiang Xiaolong was vexed. He was without Su Xian and Liu Gong while the enemy had Meng Ao and Wang Qi. He was himself unschooled in top-level military and civil administration. How was he to overcome Liu Buwei? Thinking to this point, his heart jolted, calculating that if he could swing Meng Ao over, everything would be solved. While it would be difficult to instigate Meng Ao to rebel, he had a chance because Liu Buwei had once tried to murder Meng Ao's two sons. Nonetheless, he must first win over Meng Wu and Meng Tian. His heart was stirred and he had already formulated a plan. Xiang Xiaolong summed up, the matter of utmost importance right now is to capture the position of left premier for our man, and then to increase Wang Jian's profile to counter the two men Meng Ao and Wang Qi. I will take care of Prince Dan personally. They continued discussing the details, especially on Prince Dan's situation, before Xiang Xiaolong left Xiao Pan's study. As he stepped across the study door, he did not know where to go for a moment. He desired most to return to the Wu residence to see Zhao Yue. Nonetheless, in the name of righteousness and justice, he needed to console Prince Dan's subordinates Su Yais and the rest. However, the most critical person he had to talk to was actually Lao Ai, to instigate an alliance against Liu Buwei. After a while of indecision, Li Si's voice sounded in his ear saying, "Official Xiang." Xiang Xiaolong recovered his spirit and joyfully cried, "Brother Li." Li Si grabbed him in one hand and led him to the imperial garden through a side door. It was now afternoon and the sky was covered in heavy clouds, suggesting a blizzard. As they arrived at a small pavilion, Li Si released him, sighed and said, "The scoundrel Liu is truly formidable. After a few moves, we are now at a great disadvantage again. Hey! Has Tian Dan been killed?" Xiang Xiaolong nodded his head. Li Si's eyes brightened and he said excitedly, "This is greatly beneficial to Great Qin's future plans to unify the world. And Liu Buwei can no longer count on his mutual support to control the 6 eastern states." Xiang Xiaolong seized the opportunity to ask, "Besides the militaries Meng Ao and Wang Qi, what kind of strength does Liu Buwei have?" Li Si replied forlornly, "Liu Buwei has comparatively weak troops-wise. At least within Xianyang, our strength is superior to his." Xiang Xiaolong furrowed his eyebrows and said, "I am unfamiliar with the court process, can Brother Li explain its ins and outs to me?" Li Si looked at him in shock for a while before nodding his head and saying, "If you need a detailed explanation, I am afraid that official Xiang will not be able to return home tonight. At a high level, however, there are 3 levels in the hierarchy. At the top is naturally the Crown Prince together with supporting minor officials like me. We form the inner court." "Hey! Just the inner court is extremely complex." Xiang Xiaolong replied, "I am actually familiar with the inner court. Brother Li does not need to explain. Under the Crown Prince is the right premier and left premier. What is the difference in authority between the two?" Li Si patiently explained, "To answer this, we need to start with Shang Yang's political reforms during the time of Duke Xiao. Then, the 2 highest officials under the monarch were the Commons Chief and the Grand Vizier. Until King Huivan came, Shang Yang held both positions, effectively unifying the control of the military and civil government in one person. His achievements were spectacular, arousing even the jealousy of his master King Huivan, who finally executed him through dismemberment by horses. From then on, power was concentrated in the king. The civil government and military was separated, with a premier installed to manage the former and a great general to command the latter. The premier headed hundreds of officials. The administrative load on him became too heavy and the post was divided into the left and right premiers, with the right premier managing the civil government and the left premier managing military affairs. The former was akin to the previous Commons Chief and the latter akin to the Grand Vizier. I've decided to translate these 2 terms broadly. They are actually just official titles under Shang Yang's reforms. Don't know what the real English equivalents are. The Grand Vizier, or a with tilde a with circumflexion a with tilde a with circumflex a degree a with tilde a with circumflex copyright a cent a euro a with circumflex a is supposed to be the highest official position in the Qin state. The more Xiang Xiaolong listened, the more confused he got. He asked, if that is so, why is Liu Bue so insistent on controlling the military? Li Si laughed bitterly and replied, it has always been difficult to separate the civil government and the military. Since both the left and right premiers report directly to the king, whenever there is a decision to be made by the king, both premiers must be consulted. Now with the crown prince still young and the empress dowager personally holding court, the situation is even more complex. Xiang Xiaolong felt even more confused and frowned, asking, in that case, how do these two premiers operate? Li Si languidly replied, the left and right premiers govern the country though the four institutions. The four institutions are the army and government, the judiciary, the tax authority and public works. They are controlled by the four cabinet ministers, the Minister of War, Minister of Justice, Minister of Education and Minister of the Sky. Presently the left premier manages the military and public works while the right premier manages the judiciary and tax authority. Liu Gong was originally the Minister of War. This position is now glaringly vacant. Xiang Xiaolong was about to query some more when an inner palace attendant arrived outside the hall, greeted and announced, the Empress Dowager requests the pleasure of seeing official Xiang. Xiang Xiaolong and Li Si glanced at each other, both realizing something was wrong. Thick snow started floating down at this moment. Inside the Empress Dowager's inner palace, Zhu Ji was sitting high atop the phoenix dais. 4 palace maids and 4 servants stood at her left and right. Palace guards lined up on both sides up to the entrance of the palace hall. The moment Xiang Xiaolong saw this troop arrangement, he knew that he was at a disadvantage. This is because Zhu Ji is clearly indicating that she did not want to engage in private conversation. She is also indicating that her heart is with Lao Ai, since she is demonstrating that she does not want to meet him alone, avoiding Lao Ai's jealousy. Indeed, after Xiang Xiaolong had paid his respects and recovered, Zhu Ji looked at him with chilly eyes and coldly said, Official Xiang, are you disregarding me, the Empress Dowager? Returning after half a year, you do not even meet me for a greeting. Xiang Xiaolong knew that the only effective move was to use the soft to overcome the hard. He sighed and said, Empress Dowager, please calm down. The reason? Zhu Ji interrupted him, saying, no matter what you say, I am not going to calm down. Xiang Xiaolong, tell me what you and Crown Prince are stirring. You are so secretive and sneaky in everything, keeping me in the dark. When Lord Jailing rebelled during the hunt, you clearly had prior information. Why didn't you inform me? At this point Xiang Xiaolong knew she was merely sore about an old issue, so he laughed bitterly and said, this minor official has 1,000 things to say, but finds it difficult to say a word with so many ears listening. Is it right for me to speak so freely of the late king or the crown prince or Premier Liu or Premier Su? Zhu Ji's beautiful eyes gazed at him deeply for a time. She then softened and heaved a sigh, saying, all right. Everyone please get out. Anyone who dares to eavesdrop is to be killed without mercy. In the blink of an eye, all the servants and guards had cleared out of the hall, even closing the palace hall door and all the side doors. The Zhu Ji who was sitting on the phoenix seat heaved another sigh and with a softened voice said, I already knew it was impossible to corner you. Speak. Xiang Xiaolong took 2 steps forward and bracing himself, sat on the steps of the dais. He blandly said, Liu Bue killed Su Xian and harmed Liu Gong. If he is able to kill me, the next will be official Lao. Zhu Ji saw that he was actually so rude as to sit on the steps of the dais on his own accord. She had wanted to reprimand him, but was overwhelmed by his startling words. She shook dramatically, saying, what did you say? Xiang Xiaolong buried his head in his palms and said solemnly, any obstacle in Liu Bue's path to power will be kicked away by him sooner or later. He can sacrifice anyone and anything other than himself. Empress Dowager should understand this even better than I do. Zhu Ji's breathing became heavy and only said after a long while, the Chu people have sent the severed head of Lord Chun Shen over, begging for forgiveness over Su Xian's death. What does this have to do with Lu Bue? If you do not make yourself clear, I will not spare you. Xiang Xiaolong became furious and whipped his body around sharply, staring at Zhu Ji. He said, what did Lord Chun Shen stand to gain by killing Su Xian? If not for Tian Dan's instigation and Lu Bue's background support, even if there was much to benefit from it, would the Chu people be so audacious? Hung! You will not spare me? Just get someone to come and behead me then. See if Xiang Xiaolong will crease half a hair on my eyebrow. Zhu Ji's eyes emitted an intensely cold killing aura, but after contending a time with his gaze, she was defeated. She lowered her gaze and lightly said, just take it as if my words were too extreme. What's the use of getting so angry? Xiang Xiaolong saw that it was a good chance to back down, but decided to vent his anger anyway. He said forcefully, the position of left premier is now being coveted by everyone. If it falls onto Lu Bue's hands, not only will Xiang Xiaolong die without a proper burial, the person beside Empress Dowager will not live to his old age. Zhu Ji gently said, if Xiaolong is willing to be the left premier, I will support him with all my power. Xiang Xiaolong regained his calm and smiled while shaking his head, saying, it is not for me, but for Lord Chongping. Zhu Ji was startled and objected, how would the people accept Lord Chongping? Why don't you consider Wang Ling? Xiang Xiaolong replied, this is because we need Wang Ling to replace Lu Gong in managing the army, to better master Wang Qi, Meng Ao, Du Bai, and their men. Even though Lord Chongping is a little lacking in virtue and seniority, he is still a scion of the royal family. Appointing him as premier is the best way to pacify the hearts of Great Qin's military. Empress Dowager should remember that 2 of the 3 tiger generals of Western Qin have gone. The remaining one Wang Qi is not only leaning towards Lu Bue, his standing is still below that of Meng Ao. Now everyone is currying favor with Lu Bue. When everyone has fallen in with him, will Empress Dowager and Crown Prince have a place to stand? Zhu Ji stared at him for a while before saying forlornly, why can't I ever prevail over you? But this is no small matter. I need to mull on this. Please retire first. Xiang Xiaolong knew that she was going to discuss this with Lao Ai and cringed in his heart. Still, he could not do a thing and left in frustration.